From the basement of La Penta, this is WICR.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sports Vault. Jersey Joe and Big Shot Rob moving along with today's show. Just broke down our wild card prediction for tonight's game. Rob going Astros, me going Yankees, but now New York baseball does not end in the postseason for the New York Yankees. We also have the New York Mets taking on the Dodgers, and what I think might be the best opening round matchup just across both sides with the arms and the talent that they have. But, Rob, it's an interesting one. I mean, you look across, and there's a star-studded pitching lineups all over the place. The Mets, obviously, we kind of have an idea. They're going to go DeGrom, Syndergaard, Harvey in Game 3. The Dodgers, we don't have an exact idea yet, but, I mean, we think we can all kind of have a good impression. It's going to be Greinke, Kershaw, or Kershaw, Greinke. Mm-hmm. Who comes out of the series?
You know, I want to stick with the Mets for this one, Joe, but
to come out of the series?
To come out of the series. But I kind of had the feeling the Dodgers might come out of this one. And my reason for that is we got to look now at, we're starting this series off, first of all, in L.A., because Terry Collins, as a head coach of the Mets, really messed up last week. You don't rest guys that early when you have the home field advantage at stake. You take that chance and you go for it all and take that chance. And you know what? They should be pitching right now 2 games in New York. Starting off with 2 games in New York, Jacob deGrom would be nice and comfortable. Noah Syndergaard would probably be nice and comfortable. Now you're bringing these young guys into L.A., where they're going to have to deal with these fans. Now, postseason baseball is totally different atmosphere from what you're dealing with in the regular season, and it's going to be a real killer. You know, you look at Citi Field, a pitcher's ballpark. L.A. kind of isn't going to be that way for the Mets, so it's going to be kind of a struggle. I mean, I'm still going to go with the Mets in this one, but I see it as being a struggle for them.
See, I think the Mets are better equipped for the back end of the series. I think after 1 and 2, that is when they are in their best position. And if they can win one of the games against Greinke or Kershaw, then they're really in a good position. Because, again, the Dodgers bullpen is, I'm not even going to use any nice words, it's a disaster. It's been a disaster. I have no faith. Outside of when you get to Kenley Jansen and J.P. Howell, I really just don't have faith in anybody in that bullpen. So the closing out close games for the Dodgers is definitely not something that's on their side. And then I think when you look at them in the starting pitching perspective, Kershaw and Greinke are as good as it's going to get, and they're not going to make anything easy for them. But you got to go back to Kershaw still. Now, I don't think that it's a fair label, but he's gotten the label of can't deliver when it matters in the postseason. Does he finally shed that label? Or is that label even fair to give him?
I think he will shed that label. You know, Joe, we look at what team has given him the most competition. It's the St. Louis Cardinals every year, and they're able to get about 5 to 6 runs off him. The Mets, totally a different team. Yes, you know what? Yoenis Cespedes was able to lead them this year. But do they really have the hitting to go against him? First of all, Kershaw's a pitcher. If he gets on his groove from the first inning, he will shut you out the rest of the way. And that's what we're going to see. We don't have with the Mets where, everybody's going to be hitting on fire. That's not how it's going to be. And you know what? I see it as a struggle. It's going to be, you're going to see a lot in this series of Mets pitchers giving up 3 earned runs a game, because that's typically how it's going to be. And the thing we're going to worry about is, can the Mets produce? Can they put up 4 to 5 runs off these guys? Because Zach Greinke's going to shut them down the rest of the way. Kershaw might shut them down the rest of the way. And, I mean, say in this series, I'm still going with the Mets. Say they're down 2-0, you might have the chance to win Game 3. Are you really going to win Game 4 in New York versus Clayton Kershaw or Zach Greinke? Because obviously Mattingly's going to rest these guys and have them ready and set for those days.
I think 100%, and it's funny because I know you're picking the Mets, but you're giving me a lot of fuel.
I'm giving a lot of Dodgers support.
Exactly. I'm going to go with the Dodgers here. Again, I think there's a lot of red flags with the Dodgers. The bullpen is a major concern. I think at the back end, and the longer the series goes, the more it benefits the Mets. But again, I think experience might be the biggest reason why I want. Now, you look at what the Dodgers did last offseason, and they brought in a lot of veteran type of guys, and I think they did it for reasons like this, is because they didn't have a lot of those older veteran type guys when you got to these moments in the postseason. And I think with a lot of young, important players like Joc Pederson, Yasiel Puig, sometimes not having that veteran presence, guys who've been in big playoff spots before, big playoff games, I think that kind of paid a detriment to them. And now they have guys like that in there, and it's going to Jimmy Rollins in there, one of those guys being, of course, again, his play hasn't really been where you would expect it to be because of the decline, but still, having that veteran presence, I think is huge for them. So I will go with the Dodgers. How many games are you taking the Mets in?
I'm going to go with 5.
5 games?
I'm going to see it go the full 5.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of ridiculous thinking that they're going to end up winning in LA in that game 5, but that's just the way I see it going.
See, I wouldn't say it's ridiculous just because I think you look at it and look, what is the postseason about? Timely hitting and pitching. The Mets certainly have the pitching to compete with anybody, and they even have more depth in the pitching department than the Dodgers do. And I think the main question with the Mets is, can they get the timely hitting, especially when you're going to go up against Kershaw and Greinke? And let's be honest, the second half of the season, even with how good Greinke's been, Kershaw might have been the best pitcher in baseball.
Oh, most definitely. But I would say behind Jake Arrieta.
I know, you're always throwing Jake Arrieta in there,
Jake
Rob.
Arrieta is the best pitcher in baseball.
See,
and you're going to see that tomorrow night when he shuts out the Pittsburgh Pirates.
You think so?
Yes.
You take him over Greinke and Kershaw.
I will take him any day over Greinke.
Here's the thing, Rob. You and I disagree very rarely on the air, and maybe sometimes people want to hear a little bit more disagreement. Well, I think they've got a disagreement, Rob, because you would take Jake Arrieta over Clayton Kershaw on his best day.
Yes, I would.
Wow.
Joe, if we look at what he's done since like late July, early August, the guy has had an ERA of .73, just been lights out. He's even helping out on offense. He's an all-around ball player, and he's working innings. I mean, yes, this is his breakout year. Hasn't had this in the past, but this guy, I think he's going to be one to look out for the next couple years. And
look, I don't doubt his talent for a second either, but I mean, my goodness, I cannot dethrone Clayton Kershaw. I don't know if you're going to get a better moment to end this segment on because, again, we rarely disagree. If we keep talking, we're probably going to find something to agree on. So let's end the segment on a agreement for once. We will be right back, though, transitioning a little bit to football, baseball in the books. We'll be right back.